15.
First point. Look where he returns Mannarino. That was actually inside the baseline. Makes a lot of sense. Cut off the angles, short swings. We've seen so many players return from deep in the court. I mean, yesterday Sakalarides, he was in danger of hitting the backstop with his backswing, and that's impressive given the size of this court. But Mannarino, very much an aggressive returning stance. But that's what Sonego likes to do. Skip around the backhand, quick feet, and just look for forehands and dominate proceedings from there.
Otherwise attacked the drop shot.
Nice little play, wasn't it? Saw Mannarino just backtracking because after a weak reply, Mannarino thought he'd be looking at a big, heavy forehand. So he plays up, doesn't quite get it. He's backtracking, and that beats him by a long way. Wrong-footed.
Used to have played on 3 occasions. It's Mannarino who leads the head, Sonego who leads the head-to-head 2-1. Lorenzo winning the first 2 encounters. But Mannarino the latest one, but that was already 3 years ago. It's strange they haven't played since that US Open in 2020.
Game, Team Italy.
Given that they are both at the upper echelons of the sport, it's quite unique that it's been 3 years, Wally.
I was thinking that myself when I was looking at that stat. And you sort of think, well, for Mannarino, 3 years, he's been, playing at a very high level for the last 3 years. But for Sonego, it's been an improvement, hasn't it, since they first played in 2018, 2019, 2020. But he's younger. He's emerged in those last 3 years. So you would think that maybe those results not quite so relevant now.
What a season it was last year for the Frenchman.
14 France.
Currently playing at a career high ranking at the age of 35. Testimony to his durability, just how well he's playing.
And I think the durability is down to his game style. I mean, he's not windscreen wiping from 4 meters behind the baseline, lunging, slicing balls back and grinding. He's controlling the court. He plays the match on his terms.
Just to put into perspective how well Mannarino has done of late, Wally, he lost 9 of his first 10 finals that he played in. And now, given the season he's had last year, he's won 4 of his last 5. And that's all in the space of 16 months.
Winning breeds winning.
Doesn't it?
You win a few and you forget how to lose.
And then taking it to the next level, when you look at players who go on to win many Masters 1000s or who go on to win majors, I think getting that initial breakthrough early on in your career is massive in helping your chances to go on to win many more. Nice hold from Mannarino.
I think for players, and players know they're good,
Yeah.
and if they're not winning
Game on.
or winning the matches they think they should win or the titles they should win, there's a frustration.
Yep.
And then once they achieve it, what their expectations are, they kind of breathe a sigh of relief, and then you start to really see the best of them consistently.
Yep.
But that first breakthrough is complicated because sometimes players are trying just that little too hard, or they think it's just going to happen without doing all the hard work. And that's probably where you need some good tennis heads in your corner, some people that have been on the journey and know what's coming.
Winning Team Italy.
Taking a little too long.
That's just classic Mannarino, isn't it? Doesn't look spectacular, but he just takes time away.
It's spectacular in its simplicity.
Yeah. I love watching him play. Just have a look at this. So the high looping forehand, he just holds his ground. He bunts a little half volley straight back. No time to prepare. And it's low.
You know, Wally, we've got Team Canada playing this evening. Felix Auger-Aliassime springs to mind. And remember, I think Felix lost his first 8 finals before eventually winning in Rotterdam. In fact, he didn't win a single set in any of those finals. He hasn't won a Masters 1000. He hasn't won a major yet. And of course, we know he's an immense talent, but I do wonder how much mental scarring is there.
Yeah, and then you could say, does he have the intangibles, the little 5%ers that are going to take him to that next level that you're talking about? I think Felix is interesting because awesome athlete, awesome player. Unfortunately, he's been bedeviled by that knee problem over the course of 2023. Yes. But, you know, when I watch him play, and I've watched him play over the years, when you look at a player with potential, you're looking for all those little improvements, you know, little things that they're adding to their game, because it's one thing to get there, but then you've got to stay there.
Yeah.
So you go from being 100 in the world to 20 in the world or 10 in the world, and you're just playing better players day in, day out. You've got to keep improving. Look at Novak, classic example. Just keeps adding dimensions to his game. And sometimes I watch Felix and I think, you're playing the same tennis you were 3 years ago.
That's good stuff. Wally Musso alongside me. Mark Philippoussis courtside, keeping a beady eye on the action down there. Morning, Mark.
Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
And get your thoughts on getting those early titles under your belt early on in your career, Mark, and how that serves you so well mentally. But Sonego in a bit of hot water right now. Down a couple of break points here. Genius.
Team France.
Gorgeous feel. Some lefty
Team
magic
France
from Mannarino. He gets the early break. 2-1.
Guys, what was so pretty about that is Mannarino got to that. He did not panic at all. Just kind of chipped it right back at his feet. And Sonego just was a little unsure. I felt like maybe he changed his mind a couple of times of what he wanted to do with that ball. Look at this, nothing special, but just getting it back at the toes. And I thought either, you know, try and go forward to volley it or maybe take a step backwards, but he just caught him. A little bit like a deer in headlights. He's
got a very high takeaway too, Sonego, so it was always going to be hard to play the half volley. But flip. I agree with you. That is so clever what he just did. He basically hit the ball with the right amount of spin, the right amount of pace to put it in the perfect place to make a nuisance of himself. Clever.
Yeah, didn't even think about trying to go for an angle winner, right? Just putting it back in, knew exactly what he wanted to do.
It's the last day of the group stages
Ladies and gentlemen, find your
here in
seats
Sydney.
quickly, please. Thank you.
The field has been set in Perth. Poland, Australia, Serbia and China being the best of the runner-ups, going through to the knockout stages.
Robbie, when I hear you talk, I feel like you're a South African. When are we going to get South Africans back into something like the United Cup?
I'm working on it.
You guys have had some players over the years.
Oh, we have.
Where are they now?
Yeah, few and far between. I'm working on one. I've got a personal interest in him. He's at college in the States. I'm nurturing him.
Is he at Koenig?
He is. Wally, I often tell the story back in the days when
15.
I just started to play some decent doubles. We used to play a game of cricket between the Australians and the South Africans on the MCG. We used to play on one of those strips there. We had 11 players. You guys had 11 players. That's how many?
I took a wicket. I couldn't believe. I was so excited.
We couldn't believe it either.
I think I got your opening batsman. Yeah, so as you say, that's the depth of South African tennis, be it main draw or qualifying or doubles.
Yep. Lloyd Harris on the mend. He'll be coming back, of course, just before he had all the wrist injuries. He was going along very nicely. Had made the finals at Dubai. His protected rankings are done now, so he is starting all over again. That's how good it's got to be.
Yeah, Sonego needs to stay with that game. Stay with the that mindset of being aggressive and accelerating through the ball. In the last few points before that, he started chipping a little bit, and that's what Mannarino does. It gets you out of your comfort zone. It gets you playing his kind of tennis, and he needs to get back to what he does best.
Let's first set.
Lady Luck wearing a bit of red, white and green.
Red, white and green is the flag. Blue, the azure is the colour they play in.
I know.
They don't pick up one of the colours of the flag. Interesting.
I was hoping they would differentiate today, given that they're playing against France.
I just love watching him play. The preparation is early. It's so simple from Mannarino. Barely takes a backswing. Always takes the ball on the rise. And just redirects pace beautifully. That one skipping off the baseline. Well, Flip, you mentioned, you know, the aggression, trying to dominate the point, which he certainly can do, Sonego, but there are times where you just got to dig in and defend and make Mannarino play one more ball. And on that occasion, it was the hustle that got him over the line. So it's going to be a combination of effort and then trying to win his share of points for Sonego. But he's going to have to dig in and defend.
Advantage, Team France.
Yeah. Just Mannarino never panics, right? Just right back to work. It's back to juice. Keep playing his game, placing his serve beautifully in the corners with that lefty slider.
Well, that was pretty good heat there. That was 195. But every now and then you'll see him serve a little slider at like 130, 140. So paces change dramatically.
Here's his coach, Gipo Arpino. What a great Italian name that is. He has been with them since he was a young kid.
Yes.
Another one of those coaches that looks like a wise old sage. Started tennis relatively late. Enjoyed playing football, of course, from Turin. There's Lorenzo. What a wonderful city that is. Of course, the season-ending finale is there, the ATP finals. What a wonderful host they have been the last couple of years. Wonderful museums, artworks.
Advantage, Team France.
Where the Fiat car factory originated, and get some decent coffee as well there.
The Shroud of Turin.
That's right.
If you're into that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
His last couple of, besides the juice point, backhand returns. Lorenzo's done a good job of stepping in, cutting off the angle of that slider, and nice deep returns and catching Adrian off guard a little bit.
And I can guarantee, Flip, as he steps in, eventually Adrian will fire one into his body. He'll think his way through it. See if he goes body here, if he gets crowded by Sonego.
Advantage, Team France.
Even that serve out wide, that's probably the toughest one for the lefty. And he knows how important it was, the little fist pump thereafter. Almost 7 minutes now he's been serving for.
Game, Team France.
That's the geometric perfection that we are talking about with that lefty slider.
Look at the second bounce of that serve.
Team
Like,
France leads.
it was
3
basically
games to
in
1.
Team Italy's corner. Such was the swing, so he lets the slice do the work for him. I thought he might try to go body because those wide serves had been cut off, but look at that, that's just unplayable. It almost hit the side fence before it hit the back fence, which on this court is impressive.
A lot of dodging to do there.
15, love.
Well, evasive action, just feeling his hip flexor there. Not much the ball kid could do. That's his position. And Adrian, yeah, he does have to take a big lunge to his left.
Just move them back a little. There we go. Give me some more room.
One thing I like about the French players, they're great
13.
ball strikers. They have so many different styles of play coming out of that country. They're all very individual in the way they approach their tennis. You know, you've got the likes of Mannarino. We had Santoro, Grosjean, Clement. Then you had Songer and Monfils, and
They're also different, right?
you couldn't throw a blanket over them, as you might with the Spanish players to a degree.
14.
Yeah. But I guess the unpredictability is the commonality. I think very good coaching as well in France. In order to become a coach there, if you want to be a top-level coach, I think it's 3 years of coaching credentials that you have to go through. So not just anybody can be a top-level coach in France. And I think the ability to recognize what works and what
14,
doesn't, and be careful
15.
not to change something just because it looks out of the ordinary. If it's effective, leave it alone.
Yeah, I think one of the great skills in coaching is solving problems through the player's eyes, not through yours.
Yes.
It takes a while to learn that.
That is proper power, spreading the court magnificently. Lorenzo staying within touching distance for Team Italy.
It's 3 games
It's
to
3-2.
2.
And Mark, I want to come back to you on that discussion that we were having a little earlier about getting those wins under your belt early on in your career. And I see you lost your opening 3 finals that you played in Scottsdale. Of course, tough matches. You lost to Courier, Rios and Michael Chang before eventually winning in Toulouse. What was your mentality? Do you remember what it was like after having a couple of losses before you eventually won that first title?
Yeah, the first title is a very special moment. I mean, that first one was tough. I think a lot of my matches were like 7-5 or 7-6 in the third. And sometimes it's one of those weeks that you feel like it's meant to be. But all he said, I mean, sports is so much about momentum. And if you put yourself in a position where, you know, you're winning and getting a roll, you do forget to lose and gets these big situations, big points, and you have that self-belief of winning them. You know, and I think at the end of the day, it's just important to go out there. You have your game plan, and of course you want to win, but you're thinking to yourself, okay, this is what I believe I do best. And on the big tough points, you know, for me, second serve, I've got a chip in charge. I've got to put the pressure on. If he can pass me for 3 sets or 5 sets, then you just got to say too good, right? But it's just about, first of all, putting yourself in that position to have a crack at it.
Well, Wally was talking about momentum. You win that title in Toulouse, and then, of course, you end up winning in Scottsdale and Munich in your next 2 finals that you play. That momentum works, and then I don't want to bring the mood down, but, of course, you came oh so close in Düsseldorf against Albert Costa. Do you remember what the score was there? It was 7-6 in the third,
right.
9-7 in the deciding set tiebreaker. You went down.
There you go, yeah. So it's a point here, a point there, a lot of the times. But, yeah. Thank you for not bringing up the 2 Grand Slam finals, though. I mean, you know, that's one of them.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice to win.
Players are ready. Thank you.
Was it Lendl? It took, how many Grand Slam finals did he play before he won one.
Yeah, same as Andy Murray.
At least you got to a Grand Slam final, Flip.
Exactly.
15-11.
That's what I keep telling myself, boys.
The guy that you lost in Wimbledon was half decent.
Yeah, I mean, I did give him a lot of momentum going into the next few years, you know. Still waiting for my 10%.
Yeah, Andy Murray, I think like Lendl, lost their first 4
15.
major finals, Wally, before eventually prevailing. And you know, it's another example of a player. I wonder if he'd won, you know, one of those first 2 or 3, whether he might have gone on to win more. Well, I mentioned that Mannarino has won the previous meeting at these two played at US Open, but it's Sonego who leads the head-to-head. And update on the win predictor. Pre-match, 60-40 in favour of Mannarino.
Probably wouldn't have it that. I have it a little closer.
Yeah, I think they're going off the back of last year's results, where he's had a career best season and Sonego's had, you know, one of the biggest drop-offs after 2022, where he shot the lights out. More losses than wins in 2023 for the Italian. It's always a tricky one, isn't it? How much is there recency bias, Wally, when you're trying to decide who might be the favourite in a match?
And then the intangible of the early season.
Yes.
First couple of matches.
So many ingredients to throw in that pot, right? Digest.
I look at Casper Ruud playing well. Zverev playing well. Sonego playing well.
Yeah.
Early in the season. Can't really accumulate any data for 2024, but guys are looking good. So against the lefty, of course, when they serve to the backhand side, it's complicated. The forehand point is crucial. You've got to try to win this battle, this returning battle on the forehand court, because when a lefty serves to the backhand, it's problematic. Got to give yourself a fair few opportunities to break usually against the lefties.
Team France.
And definitely a frustrating point for Lorenzo there. Nice return, but that one going on the lowest part of the net with 0 shape. That was incredibly flat and a very low percentage shot, especially after working hard to get back to juice.
Game, Team France.
An observation I've made, because I've always enjoyed watching Mannarino, and I've watched him play Alex de Minaur at the Australian Open, of course best of 5. I watched him play Rafa one year at the Australian Open, best of 5. And if you can take enough out of him physically, and you can imagine both Demon and Rafa did that, he definitely tailed off as the match wore on. And I just look at those last 2 points from Sonego and Flip. You said, you know, kind of pulled the trigger at juice, big flat ball from behind the baseline. You know, I think that's something you have to factor in against Mannarino. You've got to work him over a little bit. You've got to play some physical points. You do a bit of running yourself, no question, but you've got to take something out of him because he's so efficient. You can't have him fresh. He played a first set against Rafa. I think it was 7-6 in the first set. Took forever. He was spent. Rafa just crushed the life out of him in that first set.
Yeah, Rafa back in business yesterday in Brisbane with a nice win
15.
against Dominic Thiem. Talk about a baptism of fire.
Isn't that an unusual first round up there in Brisbane? You've got Grand Slam winners. One's a qualifier, one's a wild card.
Crazy stuff. Good entertainment in that Pat Rafter Arena last night. Oh, stop it! How good was that volley? Like he's taking a page out of John Fitzgerald's book here. The little toppy. This one here. Great dexterity in the wrist, and just to hurry the ball along. You give it the topspin flick. Not easy to control. That was done wonderfully well.
Now, how do you read that?
Italy is requesting a review on a call on
The simplest of swings, and then he just accelerates another 10 or 20% than his normal rally ball, and finds the outside edge of the line.
Oh, you can't, Wally. That's what makes him so effective. And that racket is strung so loosely. Nine and a half, 10 kilos, 22 pounds. But Josh always emphasizes the importance of maximizing, I should say, the technology you have these days with the strings and the rackets, to try many different rackets. Marry it with the right strings for your kind of game. The options are so varied these days.
Gee.
Mannarino is a maximizer in that department. This is a frozen rope of a backhand. Sears the line.
Guys, I can't say that Lorenzo did anything wrong at that point we just saw then. You know, good first serve, great return. I mean, you can say maybe coming in off the forehand side will be tough, but just Adrian right now, the way he moves around, it just looks like he's everywhere. He just feels like he's got a 6'8" presence on the court.
And flip that first serve, 215 Ks. I mean,
God.
Just an absolute rocket, and he met it early, Mannarino.
Advantage, Team Italy.
I just wonder again, easier said than done. If the odd heavy second serve kick as a first serve, maybe change the pace a little bit, can be sometimes just as effective maybe against a player like Adrian. You know, not give him that pace to work with where he can block it back.
He's got a great attitude, this guy.
New balls, please.
He won't be going anywhere. Renzo Furlan, team captain, is happy for Italy.
Team France leads 4 games to 3.
They're still playing catch-up in this opening set. Wally, I want to go back to that topspin volley. I don't know if anybody used to execute it before Fitzy, but he was the guy that I first saw do it on a regular basis. Was there anybody else?
Well, I think Johnny Mack was a brilliant volleyer, obviously, but he did have the ability to sort of almost come over the volley.
Okay.
He would do it almost a matter of course, not necessarily when he's pushed out very wide. Rafter, of course, was very good at it. And look, a lot of good volleyers are like Stefan Edberg. There are times when they have to improvise and they can do it. But Johnny Mack was quite unusual in the way that he could almost come over a volley.
So was he the pioneer of that kind of volley?
Well,
was he before Fitzy?
Look, you know, you might talk to some of the old timers. There were some pretty good volleyers back in the day.
Okay.
I'd hate to give Fitzy credit for an innovation in our sport. Talk about Mannarino and the string tension there. If you gave that to another player on tour, they wouldn't be able to hit a ball in the court.
No.
He has, you know, devolved over the years to get to this point.
Yep.
A little bit looser, a little bit looser, a little bit looser. And changing rackets, you were talking about Josh saying, you know, take advantage of what's out there.
Yeah.
Change is difficult.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to change incrementally.
Yep.
Some players change rackets for money. It hurts them.
Yep.
Get a bigger contract with another brand, another label.
And this guy's as fussy as hell with his grips. He can shave, he'll tell you, with sandpaper, 1 or 2 soft wipes of the grip might be enough for him to feel a difference. We're talking micromillimeters.
Yeah, I noticed that the other day. He was constantly changing grips, and he has tape under the grip on top of the leather just to change the bevel. So it must be very important to him how that feels in his hand, knowing where the racket face is.
Taylor.
Cool as you like, this guy.
30 left.
What do you do with that serve? Do you just stand outside the alley and say, ace me tee? He probably would. But it's impossible to defend if you take an orthodox returning position. That slider wide from Mannarino. Probably if that hit him, would that have been a fault?
No.
No. Should you be allowed to throw the ball up but not serve it?
That's a great question, Wally. Mark, what do you think? I'll throw that one down to you first, get your thoughts. One toss, that's it.
You know what, we played those exhibitions years ago, those team events. Robert, you were there commentating, and we had to play lets, and if we let the ball drop and didn't serve it, it'd be a fault. So we have had a go at that, and it's very confusing. It's quite stressful, to be honest with you. I didn't like it.
Game, Team France.
You just feel rushed a little bit on the serve, you know.
It's amazing what we get
Team
used to, right? What we get accustomed to. My argument, if I was going to counter you, was, you know, it's such an important part of the serve, isn't it? Having a good toss, and if you've got a good toss, or if Wally's has got a good toss, he should be rewarded for that. Why should Robbie, who's got a poor toss, get 5 goes at it?
That's what I just can't believe in our sport. Once the ball leaves your hand, it's got to be in play.
Yeah.
And for the current pros, as Flip said, it probably be a bit confusing for some players, but if you implemented that rule now in the juniors, all the players would go through the ranks with that rule, they'd be fine.
Yeah.
Guys, what about 1 mulligan on the serve?
Yeah, that'd be great for you, wouldn't it? Miss it at 2:30, get another crack.
Beautiful play, just sensing his opponent off the court and just moving in and just showing amazing hands with that topspin volley. No, Wally, I meant a mulligan as far as 1 ball toss only. On the you can let 1 drop, but you just have 1
for the whole match.
No. Oh.
Not for every serve. No.
I want a set, maybe.
All right, maybe.
No. No, get rid of it.
Oof, Wally's a tough man.
Leave the hand. Let's go. Let's play. You can't balk in baseball. You got to throw it.
Gorgeous. Both these players showcasing the variety that they have in their locker.
15.
We know he's got the power. He's got plenty of feel too. Love the way he's attacked that volley. He's taking time away from Adrian. We so often speak about that from the back of the court, but as important when you're volleying. Go and meet it. Like it.
40-15.
That's your classic slice approach. We don't see that so often, but interestingly, it provided Mannarino with a very low ball to try to pass from, and that's not something he enjoys. He tends to want everything around somewhere between chest and waist height. Doesn't create a lot of spin, so it's hard for him to bring that one down.
Game Team Italy.
So just the 1 break separating them in this opening set. But after the break, it'll be Team France to serve for the opening set.
Got a genius in the stands.
Yeah.
Solving the Rubik's Cube. It's a melting pot, Sydney. All nationalities were represented in this city. They had the World Cup Women's Soccer here, Robbie. And it was amazing how many fans from the respective countries were in the crowd. Everyone enjoyed great support.
Yeah, that was a melting pot of teams as well this year in Sydney. It's always nice when you've got a bit of South American flavour with Team Chile. Of course, a strong European presence, as we know, is the norm these days in our sport, Wally.
I do like the truncated format, though. You look at Team USA, who won in 2023. Fritz, Tiafoe, Pagula, Madison Keys. That's a pretty awesome lineup. for the number 1s and 2s. Not many countries could compete with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, they went on to win. But this year, it is wide open. And so many matches coming down to the mixed. Super tie breaks almost determining the outcome of the whole tie in the mixed doubles.
We saw that in the opening match of Team France, saving a match point before eventually beating Germany in that deciding set match tie break. They needed to convert it on their 3rd match point. Serving for the opening set, here's Mannarino. Just remember the scenario at the moment. Germany sits top of the group in Group D, but should France win today, they will go through. They have their fate in their hands, given the fact that they won their opening match against Germany. If they go 2-0, boom, they will be top of the group.
Well, this is a big match, isn't it? Because you've got to consider Garcia a favourite.
Yeah,
in
against
the following
Paolini.
Women's match against Paolini.
Well, that right there is a glorious choreography about how he plays tennis.
And Flip, isn't he a real twinkle toes too? You hear the guys sliding and moving, but he just dances across the court, Mannarino.
Yeah, you can't even hear him move around the court. That's how light he is. And just coming to net, look at that absolute zero backswing on that volley. You know, I can't imagine that Mannarino weighs more than 50 kilos wet. You know, it's just great athlete, 0% body fat, strong legs.
He's earned himself and his country 3 set points.
Given for sets, Team France.
So efficient, so ruthlessly efficient. Adrian Mannarino gets Team France off to the best possible start by bagging the opener 6 games to 4.
I mean, how's that for a point? Just gets bat on ball on the serve. Puts it in exactly the right spot. 2 shots later, he's won the point.
Phenomenal. Lorenzo Sonego just having a look at some of the numbers there on the iPads that all the coaches have on the benches.
That's great play from Lorenzo, and you know, guys, from up there, he got a good angle, but I believe that's his way forward in getting into the match, is trying to get into net when he can, just add some more pressure. I think it's just going to be tough sitting back from the baseline and playing on those red lining on the RPMs. I just feel like there's a lot of pressure on himself, and at times playing, you know, not playing kind of the, you know, underneath himself, you know, just playing, doing more than he needs to do and just not looking comfortable.
He also got to hit 3 forehands in a row in that previous rally, Mark, so that always helps. But of course, playing the lefty, Mannarino's been so good at finding his backhand. Being able to dominate with the forehand's imperative for Sonego.
You know, another thing, while sitting here watching Adrian run around the court and move as beautifully as he does, he's never worried about running around his backhand, hitting his forehand. He's very happy, whether it's a forehand, hit a forehand, whether it's a backhand to hit a backhand. Like, he's in no rush to you know, get off the court and smack that forehand side that Lorenzo does. You know, obviously that's his weapon. He's got to look for that forehand. But sometimes he just puts himself out of position and puts some pressure on himself for the next one.
Yeah, it's a good point, Flick, too, because over time, when you're working hard to turn backhands into forehands, you're taking energy away from yourself over time. No such problem for Mannarino, because he plays so close to the baseline too. He's cutting off the yards and the meters that he has to cover. Very, very efficient.
Yes. Does not want to go down a breaker serve early on in this set. We saw what happened in the previous one.
Advantage, Team Italy. Please.
Hard to defend against. Line.
Yes.
Forehand line, backhand line. You really got to cover some court. And just look at the contact point for Mannarino. About a metre inside the baseline. Really just jolts it down the line. Just takes all sorts of time away from his opponents.
That's a huge serve when he needs to, but while just watching him, he gives you no time to breathe, like no time to ease yourself into the point. Like you said, you'll hit a cross court and all of a sudden he'll just bunt that or flatten it out down the line, add some more pace out of nowhere and look to move in. You just always keeps you kind of on the back foot there.
Game, Team Italy.
Very important hole in the context of this match.
First game,
And
second set.
as Wally was alluding to earlier, the importance of the lefty against Sonego, and with that forehand, we're focusing primarily on the forehands here, folks, and you can see almost 60% of the time he is hooking his lefty forehand and finding the backhand of Sonego, which is his weaker wing. But Wally, he does just enough to keep the Italian honest, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just an innate understanding of where the ball needs to be in any given point. It's not always just where you hit it, but at what pace you hit it.
Yep.
And he doesn't overplay. He just has that ability to play the right shot at the right time at the right pace. And even when he's in a bit of trouble, he's got good defensive skills. He'll play that ball just a little bit slower, deeper, buy a bit of time to get himself back in the point. Just, it's the sort of stuff you can't really teach, Robbie. He's just got it. And you'd have to think if he's maybe just that little bit bigger, with a slightly bigger serve and a bit more powerful, what he might be capable of. But it is tending to become a big man's game. That's nicely done there from Sonego, but it's hard to imagine a big man having the silky skills of a Mannarino. He's like I look at him like a fencer. You know, those... So skillful with the racket, so light on his feet, but that's... He's not going away, is he, Sonego? He got out of that last game just courtesy of massive serves. There's a good little hook, cross-court forehand. More often than not, he's tried to pump that ball down the line. That paid dividends. One of the first loose shots that he's played, Mannarino. Slightly mishit return.
Ladies and gentlemen, please switch off flash on your cameras. Thank you.
And if there's a side that can leak unforced errors at crucial moments for Mannarino, it is that forehand. We saw it at the Talenders match against Sasha Zverev.
Guys, Mannarino hitting himself with the butt of the racket on his forehead and is bleeding right now.
How do you manage that?
After he missed that, he just hit himself with the butt of the racket. I thought it was just a little poke, but it's more than a little poke. Can't stop the bleeding. He's going to have to get someone to
Ladies and gentlemen, trainer
take
has
care
been
of
called
that.
to the court.
Oh, just right on the edge there, wasn't it?
Okay. Mikhail Yuzhny, self-inflicted.
Yep.
Well, if it's self-inflicted, can you have a timeout? I mean, you can't injure yourself, can you?
I just did. I guess you can.
But let's say you're in a tricky situation. You go, right, I'm just going to bash myself with a racket and I'll get a bit of a breather.
Yeah. I mean,
But mind you, he's in control of this match. I'm not suggesting.
but this is the crazy thing, right? It's literally one of the first unforced errors he's made. He's in complete control, and now this happens.
But, I mean, he didn't do it particularly hard. I think he was just a bit unlucky. He caught the edge of the butt cap.
What do you think, guys? Perfect timing, love 30, couple of unforced error. Little time to gather himself, and on the other end, I guess you wouldn't be happy about, you know, we've finally got love 30, and now you're going to have to cool off a little bit.
I don't know why this has taken so long. I mean, you just get one of those little band-aids, you know, little round ones, and you just go zonk.
The first one was flat. It's the second one that's got the
Ladies and
edge.
gentlemen, Team France is now receiving medical timeout.
This does not constitute a medical timeout, in my opinion.
No,
This is
well,
not
you're
a good
spot
look.
on.
This is not a good look for the sport.
You just, like you said, you got one of those band-aids, you put them on,
Yeah.
and ready to go, right?
Yeah, the old Vaseline. Boxers use the Vaseline, don't they?
Yeah, look, this is not necessary. I mean, the way the trainer's carrying on, you think he requires stitches.
Yeah, well, that's the problem when blood's involved, right? You have to be careful.
Yeah, but put a band-aid on it. Get a really big one. Whack it on his forehead.
Oh.
Oh, come on, you don't have to stem the bleeding. What is going on here?
I guess there's no contact with the player on the other side, so it shouldn't be a big deal.
No, but seriously, blood's not streaming from his head. It's like a pinprick. I've seen it all now.
Okay, sit back and wait.
My goodness. This is very zen, isn't it? He's just...
Yeah, Lorenzo's on the other side. Okay, guys, let's get going here.
See, Lorenzo has the headband. So basically he would be okay if he banged himself with the butt cap. He's got just that little bit of padding, so But he's follically challenged too, isn't he, Mannarino? So anything.
Listen, don't bring the mood down here, okay?
So after all that, there's no Band-Aid.
No.
Yep.
Time.
Apologising.
That was not a good look for the sport, you know, Flip, because we're always trying to tell people that tennis players are tough. It's a tough sport, but they've just witnessed a medical timeout.
Thank you, music.
Well, the upshot of all of that is that Mannarino's down love 30 here on his serve. Well, that was almost shades of Roger Federer against Andy Roddick in Basel
30.
many moons ago. Remember that one?
That slice smash down the line.
Yes. Spot on, Flip.
The break didn't hurt him. Love 30. Medical timeout. 2 crisp points. Back at 30 all. It's just an absolute classic, Flip. Of course, we're up high in the commentary box, your courtside. We get this view of the court, looking straight down the court, and it's very easy when you've got the time in the commentary booth to say, yes, serve out there, go there. But invariably, he just does the right thing.
As you said, that flat-out white for lefty, you know, is a tough one. But and it's not like the guy's 6'5", 6'6", you know, with that height. But God, he moves the ball around beautifully.
Game.
On that serve. No, that one at 197, but it's, you know, there's certain serves you see at 197, they sound big and they look big, and you're like, oh, that kind of,
game over.
you know, looked bigger than 197. But that one just felt like you just rolled it in and it was 197.
Yeah, I think if he was a golfer, Mannarino would describe him as sneaky long off the tee.
What's the yardage for sneaky long for you there, Robbie?
Well, I know all about that, so 210.
Is that yards or meters? What are we talking about here?
Don't bring the mood down. Don't bring the mood down more.
How would you describe Mannarino as a boxer? He wouldn't knock you out, would he? But
No.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes, very much so.
Very much enjoy watching him play. The game has so many characters that can just crush the ball from the back of the court, serve big. But he's the perfect foil. Oh, stop it.
I mean, are you kidding me? Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think. What did he do on that return? Was it a two-handed forehand return?
He's given it to Byron Black.
Goodness. I mean, that was a Mannarino point all round.
If you're coaching a young kid, it's worth getting that point on video and saying, listen, there are different ways to skin a cat. Have a look at this.
Love to be able to see that return.
frustration. Overplaying. He just can't find a way through. Sonego. And Flip, you talk about the body serve. This is an opportunity to have a look at it.
That was the previous point.
I think that was actually the point before we wanted to see when he
Yeah.
returned from the backhand corner.
Yeah, what a fantastic chip and charge that was. I mean, that stayed
30 over.
maybe 6 inches above the court, and even Mannarino had a problem handling this one. And this was knifed. Beautifully done.
That's
It's
France
such
is
a
requesting
welcome
review on the call on the
relief
left
when you're having
hand
to work
line.
so hard for every point, trying to get a freebie. That's a line licker.
You serve at 207,
Yes.
you sort of think you're going to be in control of the point. But that was just taken away from him instantaneously by the quality of that little jolt off the backhand. And then he's in, and there's those good shot there of those light feet as he just moves through the volley. Volleying's all about the legs. Racket does very little. Legs do all the work. And Mannarino showed us that right there.
Advantage, Team Italy.
That was a fantastic effort from Lorenzo, because, again, 200km/h serve coming at you, returning at your feet, and he flicked that and picked it up nicely down the line. It's a great effort.
Of course, all the lines called automatically.
Oh,
Team Italy.
the double net cord. That'll work.
Needs all the help he can get right now, because they are down a
Team
set.
Italy leads.
But Team
2
Italy
games to 1.
has a 2-1 lead.
Jumps up and lands on the net for a second time and does the right thing. Just drops over, so he's done well. Sonego holds on, keeps his nose in front here in the second.
Beautiful. And of course, on a hot day like today, nothing like the Sydney swimming spots. There's over 100 beaches and swimming areas in the Greater Sydney. Iconic ocean pools along the coastline, such as Bondi Iceberg Pools, and you've got the Bronte Baths, plus harbourside pools like Milson's Point. So many popular destinations if you want to take a dip in the ocean or in some of the pools that they have. Are you someone who likes to go and take a dip every morning in the ocean?
Oh, not a constitutional, but if it's hot and, you know, I've been working hard, I'll just run over the road,
Time.
dive in. Not a sun worshipper, get in, get out. Got to watch out for those ocean pools there, right? Because when the tide's high, sometimes you can wash in some nasties, you know. You don't want any blue bottles in there or stingers.
Yes.
Every now and then you get a little baby shark in those ocean pools.
Yeah.
Just have to be careful.
Oh, come on.
You ever been stung by a blue bottle, Robbie?
It's not a lot of fun, is
You
it?
don't want to be.
Yeah, when you get that northeaster blowing in Durban Beach there, they come in huge numbers. You want to stay away.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see him just gesticulating there. Should have gone for the power backhand. Had so much time on the ball.
Well, I get back to the point that Mannarino is so effective serving to the backhand corner. Those points on the forehand side are... You've got to try to wrap those up somehow.
30-11.
Build some pressure on the return game.
Such a skill merchant, isn't he? So many strings to his bow.
He's not going to win those battles, is he, Sonego?
40-11.
I mean, the subtle brilliance of that backspin drop shot he's hit there. This one here. I mean, the contact is so thin. So easy to get that wrong, to get that ball bouncing on your toe.
Catch a leading edge,
Yeah.
thin it.
$40-15. Game, Team France.
And again, pulling the,
Two.
you know, that one down the
Game's
line,
on.
guys, even if he made it, you know, he's leaving that cross court all open towards the backhand side. For me, is not the play.
Yeah, we've seen him clip the net a few times going line. That one, it drifted long, and you sense, Flip, there's just that little bit of frustration sometimes with Sonego's shot making.
I just think he's yeah, almost like he's in panic mode, overplaying,
Let's
which is
first.
quite understandable when you're watching, you know, Mannarino do his thing and the way he moves and changes direction. But I just feel like you go cross court or even in the middle, you know, the deep one in the middle can be a tough one. But down the line is, even if that went in, I just feel like he's under pressure.
Had to make it, and he did. A little different on that occasion. He was probably 2 metres inside the baseline. He cut off the angle nicely. So, Flip, what you're saying, maybe in essence, in these return games, just go into the grind a little bit. Just be patient. Don't overplay. Make Mannarino hit 4 winners to hang on to his serve.
Yeah, look, I think
15.
give it a little bit more shape at times. I mean, we know that pace does not bother Mannarino at all. Actually, he used it to his benefit. So maybe, especially on the forehand side for Sonego, just give it a little bit more shape until he gets a little bit of that shorter ball and then step in and rip. But just constantly ripping from the back is, again, he's just playing at that red line and it's easy to go over.
That's the point you're talking about. It's on his serve, but he just stayed alive, flipped a couple cross court a little higher. Asked the question of Mannarino. Maybe we need to see a few more of that style of point in the return game once he makes the return.
Yeah, well, and you know what? He's going to gain a lot of confidence by winning points like this. We know he can hit winners. He's a beautiful shot maker, but when you win points like this, I think they're the ones that really give you the confidence.
Short's a little too big there, Robbie. Falling down, hitching them up.
Let's fasten.
Love the urgency with the feet. It's taken a page out of Mannarino's book.
40-15.
I mean, that's just too good.
40-30.
Sonego was definitely giving it more shape on the ball. But when you can half volley it and do that,
That's incredible, isn't it? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's the type of point we're talking about. Yeah,
Yes.
just flip it up a little higher, be a little more patient, and that's what he does.
Just
It was cavalier though, wasn't it? I mean, he was 40-15 down. It was sort of like, I'll just pull trigger.
Game, Team Italy.
Oh, a combination of early and deep is so important in our sport. Both of these guys have shown us that. Are on serve still in the second.
Well, I think maybe that's it, right? It's like you just focus on holding onto your serve and tell yourself, okay, that's too good. But, you know, can you make the point in that shot at 5 or 30 or where he's taking it on the rise, hitting half volley that flat?
Well, we saw the answer to that against Zverev, didn't we, Mark? Tail end of the second set. Missed a couple of forehands, and then towards the end of the match, just 3 forehands costing Adrian. So imperative that Lorenzo stays close to him. And that's why holding serve in his opening serve game in the second set was so important, to keep up that scoreboard pressure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Robbie, that momentum is incredibly important. I mean, service games for whether it men's and women's is very important to hold, but especially for the men's side. First of all, you got to take care of your own side, and then if you can afford to be a little more relaxed. Take some more risks, try different things when you are returning serve.
Time.
Just discussing the break, how Lorenzo has done a good job of, whilst he was broken with just the one break point against him in that first set, he was broken, lost that set. He's done a pretty good job overall of hanging onto his serve, good combination of power on that first serve and backing it up with the big forehands, but he has yet to generate a break point. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he generated a break point in his previous match at the United Cup. So building pressure on the return games is something that he struggled with here early in the season. And I would suggest against Mannarino, given the quality of his lefty sliding serve to the backhand corner, you've really got to focus. And he was waiting for the crowd.
You didn't even try to serve. You didn't even try to do anything. You just let it go. But
as good, as effective as the sliding serve out wide of the backhand is, he's hit that one well today, the flat bomb out to the forehand. Not an easy serve given his stature, but he's executed it well. So unravelling the serve of Mannarino has been a real problem for Sonego. That's what he needs. He just needs a dip from the Frenchman. He needs a few unforced errors.
That's the one I don't understand. I understand he wants to stay back and have a rip, but from back there, 3 meters behind the baseline, to hit it that flat.
Yeah, and he's hitting across the ball there, isn't he, Mark? That one's sliding off his strings. Should he want to come around the side of it, high over the middle of the net? Okay. Mannarino's just got a little petulance in the last 2 games. The pulling of the shorts, frustration's definitely starting to mount. He was watertight as far as unforced errors were concerned in the opening set. Definitely leaked a few more in the second. Okay, let's see what he does with the second serve return now.
Oh.
40-13.
I cannot believe it, Wally.
Well, he bought some time. It was a dropping ball. It was only hit at 142 Ks, and it almost looked like he tried to create the shape, just didn't get it right. Body lifted before he made contact.
Wow, guys, I don't know about that.
3 games all.
I'd love to see a replay. I thought he got to that one.
I can't. We don't have ER.
He's requested a replay. He's not going to get it, but we might.
And I'm not sure it would have made a big difference anyway. The volley was a pretty simple one in the end.
Yeah.
So there's no need to get too worked up about it. It's not like he's hit a winner off this shot. And then it's called not up.
Got there.
Comfortably.
He did get there. And the crowd have seen that on replay.
Yeah, I mean, it's an easy winner in the end for Mannarino, so...
Yeah. Yeah, but as you say, Robbie, it's a moot point. But he ran a long way. He feels aggrieved.
Yeah, understandably so.
The umpires these days, they don't have to make too many decisions. Lines are called electronically. They may have to adjudicate on a ruling, keep an eye on the time violations.
Yep.
So they don't have to do too much. And that was right under her nose. Surprising error.
Yeah. Not sure it would have made too much of a difference, but anyway. New balls at 3-all in the second.
Good response.
Yeah, use that to fuel. These guys are taking it so early.
There's that sense of panic
15 all.
from Lorenzo. I mean, he plays like he's got a bus to catch at the best of times, but
Yeah, he does.
that was hard and fast, Robbie.
I know what you're saying there, Wally. That's what it's like when you play Mannarino.
He takes you out of your comfort zone.
Big time.
Can't play your standard game. Has served well though, particularly in the second set, has
15.
Lorenzo. He's got genuine pace. That was a nice slider. Serves keeping him in this match.
Yeah, healthy 70% of first serves finding their mark.
You know, in the last couple of games, I'd like to say that a slight change of energy, you know, momentum in Lorenzo's side, I think. Guys, would you agree?
Feels it. He's up the ante. Mannarino's shown a couple of signs of frustration, even though he's really ahead on the scoreboard. Not unlike the match against Zverev, Mannarino was in charge until we got deep into the second. He played one loose game. Cost him.
Game team Italy.
Yeah, it's good bounce back ability. Didn't let the decision affect him too much at the tail end of the previous game. Comfortable hold. He's back out in front, 4-3.
Yeah, we're getting a couple more unforced errors from the racket of Adrian here, especially on the backhand side at the net.
tu es bien solide au service, tu bouges bien.
It's getting some sock slippage. That's never good.
2 pairs.
Mannarino with some running repairs. He's gone old school with the 2 pairs of socks, Wally.
Well, I'm very surprised that one would wear 2 pairs of socks.
Time.
That seems most unusual.
Yeah. It was pretty popular back in the day, though.
Really?
Yeah. Because these days with the Thorlos, you don't need 2 pairs of socks, do you? Just buy the thicker ones.
You must have missed that memo.
Yeah.
Couldn't imagine playing with 2 pairs of socks. You talk about slippage.
Nice atmosphere building here in the Ken Rosewall Arena. Final round of group stages. This is Group D action. Germany have played both of their matches. France and Italy duking it out for a place in the knockout stages. France win, they go through. Simple as that.
That was the point. More patient. Flip, as you said. Just go down the corridor. Not even with much pace.
50.
Deny Mannarino the angles. And then finally, when he did get a little frustrated and pull that backhand cross-court from on the baseline, he was vulnerable.
Yeah, played within himself in that point, didn't he?
So he's won the first point to the forehand court. Now, that's a must. Now, this is the one where he's had trouble. His backhand side. Tried it again, tried to be measured, maybe just dropped that forehand a little bit short, but I don't mind the tactic. Got to try something different to get a break point opportunity. He's yet to have one on the Mannarino serve.
Lorenzo disappointed in that, telling himself to stay down, not to lift up.
Given the loss of the opening point in the manner in which the Frenchman lost it, this has been some good bounce back ability. That'll work.
I'm not a massive fan if you've got a 50-50 option of approaching to the forehand.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Players just have more. They're stronger on that side. They have more options.
And running forehand's generally better, right?
Yeah.
We saw Nico Jarry yesterday persist with the inside-in forehand approach to his opponent's forehand.
That was nice. We haven't seen too many of those. The little inside-out ball. He found that part of the court where the service line meets the sideline. That's always hard to defend against. That was one of the occasions where Mannarino, he had to pull the trigger because he felt like he wasn't coming back.
You know, he's also done well. He's mixed up the pace in this game, chipping the ball back in his last 2 serves and then letting it go.
What's his coach's name, Robbie? Sonego?
Gipo.
He's had a word to him. The old wise head. Just told his man, just stay calm, make balls, make him beat you. You can see what he's trying to do, but then you've got to get the execution right.
Advantage, Team France.
Hook it up high and heavy. It was a little tougher. That one stayed very, very low.
You know, I like what he's doing. I like his thought process. Like you said, he's thinking out there. He's got a game plan that just could not get it done that point. But I do like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, you like him as a player, don't you? He's having a red hot go.
Oh, it's mesmerizing and magnificent. I mean, how good was the return of serve? Mannarino handled it all so well.
Game's on.
Check this, is this around the net?
Over the net post, but look at Mannarino. He actually just played that quite nicely in terms of pace. Gave himself a chance to get back to the middle. Covered the options.
I mean, he spreads the court so well, doesn't he? The cross court to the down the line. Nicely balanced here at 4 apiece.
Oh, goodness. It's like watching some sort of video game, isn't it?
Wii tennis.
Yeah.
And I think it's a joystick that he's got in his hand right there, Wally.
Whatever it is, it's just working beautifully. That's such a clever point. It's a half volley exchange there for a little while, and then, as you said, Robbie, he just changes the line of flight so easily, particularly off that backhand wing. Hard man to push off the baseline. Some players, the harder they want to hit it, the swing gets more extravagant. Not so with Mannarino. The takeaway is uniform. He just accelerates a little quicker through the ball. And as you said, Robbie, with those loose strings, powerful racket frame that he has, he just sizzles.
Okay. Commanding position here, love 30. Can he weave his magic? Oh, boundlessly imaginative. How good was that?
Love 14.
Player crowds the baseline on a second serve. You slide it into his body. That's a pretty good serve. Unfortunately, you don't get to hit another shot.
That is pretty awesome. What a skill merchant, and what a way to bring up 3 break points.
15-40.
Couldn't have passed. That's how good it's got to be.
2-12, and I think that's what he's almost got to come up with. A couple more bombs to get himself out of trouble, Jim.
And it's not like he's getting a free point off the 2-12.
No.
Still having to work. Mannarino with still 2 more bites at the cherry. He's got him.
Team France.
He has got him good. And Mannarino will serve for the match after the break. He leads 5-4, second set.
Can he maintain the rage for one more game, Adrian Mannarino? And we saw in the previous return game, Sonego he kept the ball alive. He used the chip, he played up the central corridor, tried to play a little bit heavier. He got himself into the game. Can he manage that again, and with a bit of tension, can he draw a couple of errors from the Mannarino racket, which, as we know, serving matches out is always problematic.
Of course, there is a big problem for Sonego, isn't there?
And I must check my stats, but I don't think he had a break point in his previous match against Veravida.
He hasn't.
So that's a lot of tennis without generating one break point for the Italian. Which is quite extraordinary, really, given the quality of his play.
Yeah.
Testament to the serve of Mannarino.
Well, he hasn't faced a single break point in this match so far, has Adrian Mannarino. And for Lorenzo, it's 2 matches on the bounce now where he hasn't been able to fashion a break point. But how often do we see a match unfold this way, and then suddenly the server is having to fight off break points when serving for the match?
Well, let's get back to this first point, Robbie, the forehand court, because we know how difficult it's been for Sonego to get himself in to the points when he's returning from that backhand wing. The lefty serves so effective. So this first point, absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
Got to jag this point.
The stats, playing on hard courts, winning the first point on serve increases your chance of holding by about 27%. He's got
Lorenzo. That was inspired.
Wasn't it just?
Love 15.
What presence of mind, just that cheeky little roll lob. I mean, the temptation would have been to crack this. That's good feel on the run right there.
Yeah, it's one thing seeing the space, another thing being able to exploit it.
Okay, he's a shot now. He can build.
I thought he'd done well with a nice little punch back return, and I thought he was in that point. Didn't miss by much, but that first point showing what he needs to do right now to win a point against Mannarino.
Oh, that's good defense. Just a flick of the wrist, just breaks the elbow on impact and somehow manages to control that half volley with pace, does Mannarino.
he's at the end of the range producing a shot like that. He knows how good it is, and so do they. It's just been a masterclass today from Adrian Mannarino. A small window of opportunity midway through the second set for the Italian. But he shut that down pretty quickly. Didn't face a single break point yet. And he's got 2 match points.
Thank you. Game 7,
Adrian Mannarino with a very important win for Team France. And he does it in straight sets against Lorenzo Sonego and Team Italy. What a performance, what a player, what skill.
How well did he execute in that match, Mannarino? Barely made unforced errors. Every facet of his game was on. The movement, the shot selection, the accuracy, the defense when necessary. Not that it was needed that often. And, you know, look, I can't really fault Sonego. He tried everything. The only frustrated shot he played was that final point. I think he'd had enough. But he was tied into knots today. He never would have felt balanced. But he competed. I really like him as a player. If he plays like that, and his effort is the same throughout the course of the year, he'll have a pretty good 2024, will the Italian. But Mannarino is getting better with age. It's like a wine or a cheese, Robbie, in the Burgundy region.
He certainly is. We saw it all today, didn't we? He was athletic, he was artistic, and in the end, that combo proved to be authoritative.
The only damage was self-inflicted.
Yeah, that's true. And he is down courtside with Mark Philippoussis now. Let's listen in.
Adrian, congratulations. An incredibly impressive match. It was a very tough match. I feel like the scoreboard doesn't really tell the story of that match. You must be very pleased with the way you played.
Yeah, I've played Lorenzo many times in the past, and it's always some really tough match. And in the second set, I felt like it could go either way. And you know, I get a pretty lucky game at 4-all to break him. So yeah, everything went in my way today, so that's pretty cool.
I must say, I have a lot of enjoyment watching you play, because this tennis is very physical. A lot of players are playing a lot of big tennis, very similar tennis, and then there's you out there taking the ball so early, very little backswing, and it's very pretty to watch. That's something that over time you've always been like since you were a junior player, or it's kind of evolved over the years?
Well, obviously I'm not as strong as you, so yeah, I need to deal with my size, and you know, I'm able to move pretty well on the court. So with the years, I've learned how to play with my specificities, and it feels like for the last couple of years, I understand the game a little bit better, and I'm able to use it the best I can.
Well, it's a pleasure to watch. You've put your country in a driving position. So again, congratulations on an amazing match, and good luck.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Team France looking really good. Of course, they win today, they go through in Group D. And after doing all the permutations, we know that as far as Group B is concerned, Chile are out. Canada and Greece will duke it out. Group F, we know Norway are top dogs there. Always nice when you have your destiny in your own hands, Wally.
Yeah, it'd be frustrating for Team Germany, for example. They would have to sit and watch. It'll be a nervous wait. But France certainly put themselves in a great position now.
Yeah, remember, it's the winners of the group that go through, and then, of course, the best runner-up thereafter. That's when we need to get the calculators out. But this one was pretty smooth in the end. As you mentioned, a little wobble midway through the second set for Team France, but in the end, some pretty impressive numbers there, Wally.
Yeah, look at that. 19 of 26 net point won for Mannarino, so moving forward at exactly the right times and then doing the right thing when he finally got there. Probably for Lorenzo, those 25 unforced errors, a couple of them coming on second serves when he's trying to build pressure. Don't get me wrong, Sonego did not play badly. He was mesmerised today at times by the brilliance of Adrian Mannarino, so a really, really good performance from the Frenchman.
Well, that's it as far as the men are concerned. Of course, next up it'll be Caroline Garcia and Jasmine Paolini for the women's singles, and we'll leave you in the capable hands of Sam Smith and Laura Robson next.